easy to love, but if you do take the vow to love, honor, and cherish the man who scares you half to death in the shower, who performs a striptease or streaks naked at your house parties, then you might want to pick up a few pointers from my next guest's book. Nancy Goode is a psychotherapist, and her work with couples and wives is what led her to write the book, How to Love a Difficult Man. Please welcome Nancy to the show. We're glad to have you. What do you do when, as the wife, you are always the straight man or the butt of the jokes?
Well, if you want it to change, you have to take a risk.
Yeah.
And you have to say you want it to change, and you have to say it very firmly, and you have to say it over and over again. If you don't want it to change, you can go along with it and, you know, play jokes too. But if, as I tell women, if they want something to change, they have to be the ones to initiate it. They have to say, no more, I don't want this anymore.
Nancy Goode is a psychotherapist. She deals with relationships, how to love that difficult man. And Nancy, thanks so much for being here. As we were watching Sean and Ayanna and JR's story, why is it that men, some men, stay connected with their ex-girlfriends when they're in a new relationship?
Probably for security. Although men, let's say, they can act very arrogant and confident, underneath, particularly when they have to accumulate a lot of women, they feel very insecure. So they need a lot of women around to make sure if one dumps them, they'll have somebody else. Mm-hmm. And so that's insecurity, I think, is the big thing. Also, they want to avoid intimacy, not consciously, unconsciously, because intimacy can be very scary. You know, when it's just you and the other person and you're really close and there's really warmth and understanding and commitment, that can be a very scary thing if you're not used to it.
So after all the drama that played out here in this past hour, what are Ayanna and Sean supposed to do after this?
I think they have to get back to themselves and stop making the man so important in their life. They have to.
Yes, hello. That is what I think. That is so. I think all of us can relate to that. When you love, 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 that you give so much, you give yourself away. You're looking under the bed for yourself.
Right.
You
it's
know?
what I call in the book I just wrote. It's the new creed for modern women, which is to give to yourself, to be. To want your life to be better and to believe that you deserve to have a better life and to deserve to be treated in the way you'd like to treat other people.
And it starts in your head, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I find very interesting that we don't touch on a lot is mother-daughter competition, because I think that it's so right there in front of us, it becomes very frightening. As the daughter becomes beautiful in the bloom of her youth, the mother starts to feel threatened by that. What if you really feel that there is a sense that your mother is competing with you on a number of levels? How do you possibly start to address that? Nancy?
I think that is the prototype for how women deal with competition, is how their mother dealt with them in a competitive way. It should be all right for a daughter to compete with her mother. It should be actually asked for, because that's, the mother should want the daughter to excel and to do better than she did. And I think that that's not always true. We're not always perfect parents, and women also feel insecure. So I think that, but the way it's dealt with between a mother and a daughter is going to matter in terms of how the woman is going to deal with it as an adult.
All right, Nancy, so what's a difficult man?
Oh, a difficult man, I think, is any man. Difficult man. Some people agree with me.
Let's take a specific situation. The woman is dying to go out, really dying to go out for dinner. He comes home every day, will not go out. He says, I went out for lunch.
That's right.
So, what does she do?
To start with two things. One is to try and understand what he's saying, not what he's telling you, but what he's really saying. It's not just that he had lunch at the office. It's not just that he's tired. There's something else going on. So, first thing I suggest is some psychological awareness. Also, for a woman to have confidence in herself, and to know what she feels.
Let's get back to the psychological awareness. Wait, how do you get that? Okay, so you say, well, he's saying something else. What's he saying?
Okay, well, I'll give you some examples of what else could be going on. First thing I suggest is look at his family and look at yours too. But look at his family. Did his father like to go out? Did the parents go out a lot together? Did they have a good time together? Did it seem like they were friends or not? A lot of times you'll find they weren't.
So and we're a product of our families, do you think, for the most part? That's our role models?
We all start out that way, absolutely. Men very often, difficult men do that. They'll blame her because the traffic is terrible and they're late to where they're getting to, or because the price of meat is high, you know, and it's not her fault. But sometimes it is much easier to be angry at the person you're closest to. We all know that.
But a woman doesn't get an inkling of that in her man, evidently, in a lot of cases, before she marries him. Only after that commitment is made.
Right, because during courtship, everybody's on their best behavior. Nobody wants to show, you referred to it as the dark side. Nobody wants to show that because you don't want that, you want that person to marry you. So we all are on best behavior. It's afterwards. Once you move in together, make a commitment, get married, that the difficulties start happening.
Nance, your response? Are all these men hiding something, or are they just out to have a good time?
I think it's half and half. I think sometimes it's a good time, and when it goes overboard, they're probably hiding something, but not on purpose. They don't know they're hiding something. They don't know even, this is all unconscious. I want to point that out. Nobody does things like this on purpose. It's unconscious reasons.
Yes, we do.
I must